Welcome, MYDEAFR and thus. There comes a moment in every believer's life when God begins to reveal a powerful truth. One thing can change everything. Many people are chasing 100 different answers. They're running after opportunities, relationships, money, recognition, and success. But God is saying today, stop chasing everything and start pursuing the one thing that brings everything. The one thing is His presence. When you have God's presence, you have His favor. When you have His favor, doors begin to open that no man can shut. When you walk in His presence, strength comes when you're weak, peace comes when you're troubled, and direction comes when you're confused. Too many people want the blessing without the blesser. They want the breakthrough without the relationship. They want the miracle without the master. But God is not looking for people who seek His hand. He is looking for people who seek His heart. The secret to breakthrough is not found in striving harder. It is found in surrendering deeper. Some of you have been fighting battles that seem impossible. You've cried tears nobody saw. You've carried burdens nobody understands. But hear this word today. God has not forgotten you. Every delay has a purpose. Every struggle has a lesson. Every battle is preparing you for a greater victory. When God's glory enters your situation, what was impossible becomes possible. What was dead begins to live again. What was broken begins to heal. What was lost begins to return. Don't focus on the size of your problem. Focus on the greatness of your God. One touch from God can accomplish what years of human effort could never achieve. One word from God can change the direction of your life forever. One moment in His presence can erase years of fear and doubt. Today, make a decision. Let God become your priority. Seek Him before seeking solutions. Worship Him before worrying. Trust Him before understanding. Because when you get the one thing that matters most, God's presence, everything else begins to fall into place according to His perfect plan. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. Your miracle is already in motion. Your season is changing. Your testimony is being written. Stand strong. Keep believing. Keep praying. Keep trusting. The God who started the work in you is faithful to complete it. And when His glory shows up, everything changes. Amen. Today, I want to share a truth that is simple, powerful, and life-changing. Many people believe that the answer to every problem is to fight harder, push harder, and hold on tighter. They think that if they can control every situation, they will eventually find peace and success. But there comes a moment in life when we discover that some battles cannot be won through human strength alone. There are times when the greatest victory comes when we stop trying to carry everything by ourselves and place it in God's hands. There are moments when the breakthrough we have been praying for begins when we let go of our fear, our pride, our frustration, and our need to control every detail. Many people are exhausted because they are carrying burdens they were never meant to carry. They worry about tomorrow. They worry about things they cannot change. They spend sleepless nights trying to solve problems that seem impossible. Day after day, they fight the same battles in their minds. They feel tired, discouraged, and overwhelmed. The reason is simple. They are trying to do everything in their own strength. God never intended for us to walk through life alone. He never intended for us to carry every burden by ourselves. He never intended for us to depend only on our own wisdom and understanding. He invites us to trust Him with the things we cannot control. Trusting God is not always easy. It sounds simple, but it can be difficult when life becomes uncertain. It can be difficult when prayers seem unanswered. It can be difficult when the future looks unclear. It can be difficult when we have waited a long time for change. In those moments, we often want to hold on tighter. We want to figure everything out. We want immediate answers. We wanted to know exactly how things will work out. But faith does not grow when we know every detail. Faith grows when we trust God even when we cannot see the entire path ahead. Sometimes we hold on to pain because we are afraid to let it go. We hold on to disappointment because we do not understand why things happen the way they did. We hold on to anger because we feel we have been treated unfairly. We hold on to fear because we are worried about what might happen next. But carrying these burdens only makes the journey heavier. God is calling many people today to release what has been weighing them down. He is asking them to stop carrying yesterday's mistakes, stop carrying old wounds, stop carrying guilt, fear, anxiety, and regret. These things were never meant to define your future. There is freedom that comes when you place your trust in God. There is peace that comes when you stop trying to force every outcome. There is strength that comes when you admit that you cannot do it all on your own. This does not mean giving up. It does not mean becoming passive. It does not mean refusing to work hard or take responsibility. It means doing your part while trusting God to do what only He can do. There are doors that only God can open. There are situations that only God can change. There are answers that only God can provide. No amount of worry can replace His wisdom. No amount of fear can improve His plan. No amount of stress can create the miracle that only He can bring. Many breakthroughs are delayed because people are holding on to things that God is asking them to release. They are holding on to bitterness when God wants them to forgive. They are holding on to fear when God wants them to trust. They are holding on to their own plans when God is preparing something better. When we finally release those things, we create room for God to work in new ways. Think about how often we pray for change while resisting the process that leads to change. We ask God to move mountains, but we refuse to take the steps He is asking us to take. We ask for peace, but we continue feeding our fears. We ask for direction, but we ignore His guidance. Real transformation begins when we become willing to trust God's way more than our own. There may be someone reading this who feels stuck. You have done everything you know how to do. You have prayed. You have worked hard. You have waited. Yet the breakthrough has not come. Do not lose hope. Sometimes God is teaching you to trust Him more deeply. Sometimes He is preparing your heart before He changes your circumstances. Sometimes the lesson is not about gaining more control, but about learning to trust Him with what you cannot control. Remember this: God sees what you cannot see. He knows what you do not know. He understands the future while you can only see today. His perspective is greater. His wisdom is greater. His timing is greater. The moment you stop trying to carry everything by yourself is often the moment peace begins to enter your heart. The moment you place your future in God's hands is often the moment fear begins to lose its grip. The moment you trust Him completely is often the moment your breakthrough begins. So today, let go of what is weighing you down. Release the fear. Release the anxiety. Release the need to control every outcome. Trust God with your future. Trust Him with your family. Trust Him with your dreams. Trust Him with your unanswered questions. Keep moving forward in faith. Keep praying. Keep believing. Keep trusting. God is working even when you cannot see it. He is moving even when you cannot feel it. He is preparing things that are beyond your understanding. And when you learn to place everything in His hands, you will discover something powerful. What felt impossible begins to become possible. What seemed blocked begins to open. What looked hopeless begins to change. Because many of life's greatest breakthroughs begin when we finally trust God completely and allow Him to lead the way. Life is full of battles. No one is exempt from them. Every person, no matter who they are, will face challenges, struggles, disappointments, and difficult seasons. Some battles are visible for everyone to see, while others are fought quietly behind closed doors. Some people battle financial difficulties. Some battle fear and uncertainty. Others battle rejection, loss, heartbreak, or situations they never expected to face. When we find ourselves in the middle of a battle, it is easy to ask questions. We wonder why it is happening. We wonder why the road has become so difficult. We wonder why our prayers seem unanswered. We wonder why things are taking so long to change. In those moments, we often focus on the pain of the battle instead of the purpose behind it. The truth is that every battle can serve a greater purpose in our lives. While we may not always understand it at the time, God can use even our hardest seasons to shape us, strengthen us, and prepare us for what lies ahead. Think about the strongest people you know. Most of them did not become strong because life was easy. They became strong because they faced difficulties and learned how to overcome them. Their character was built through challenges. Their faith grew through struggles. Their wisdom came through experience. In the same way, the battles we face can become opportunities for growth. They can teach us lessons we would never learn during comfortable seasons. They can reveal strengths we did not know we possessed. They can help us develop patience, courage, perseverance, and trust. Many people want success, but they do not want the process that often comes before success. They want victory without conflict. They want strength without struggle. They want growth without discomfort. But some of life's greatest lessons are learned during difficult seasons. There are moments when everything seems to be going well. Doors are opening. Opportunities are appearing. Life feels smooth and predictable. Then suddenly a challenge appears. It may seem unexpected. It may feel unfair. It may even cause us to question ourselves. But sometimes the very thing that looks like an obstacle is actually preparing us for something greater. There are lessons that can only be learned in the middle of battle. When everything is easy, it is natural to depend on our own abilities. But when challenges arise, we learn to seek God's guidance. We learn to trust Him in deeper ways. We learn that our strength has limits, but His strength does not. Many people look back on their lives and realize that their greatest growth came during their hardest seasons. The moments they wanted to escape became the moments that shaped them the most. The experiences they once considered setbacks became stepping stones toward a greater future. It is important to remember that a battle does not mean God has abandoned you. Difficult seasons are not proof that God has forgotten you. In fact, some of the most important moments of growth happen when God is working in ways we cannot yet see. There are times when God is preparing us for responsibilities we are not yet ready to handle. There are times when He is strengthening our character for opening new doors. There are times when He is teaching us lessons that will become valuable in the future. The challenge you are facing today may be developing qualities that you will need tomorrow. The patience you are learning now may help you in a future season. The faith you are building now may sustain you through greater opportunities later. The wisdom you are gaining now may one day help someone else who is facing a similar struggle. Sometimes battles reveal what is truly inside us. When pressure comes, our fears become visible. Our doubts become visible. Our weaknesses become visible. While this can be uncomfortable, it also creates an opportunity for growth. We cannot improve what we refuse to acknowledge. Battles have a way of teaching us humility. They remind us that we do not have all the answers. They remind us that we need God's help. They remind us that success is not achieved through human effort alone. At the same time, battles also reveal God's faithfulness. We begin to notice how He provides strength when we feel weak. We see how He opens doors at the right time. We experience His peace during uncertain moments. We discover that He remains faithful even when circumstances are difficult. Some of the greatest testimonies are born out of difficult seasons. Many people want powerful stories of victory, but every story of victory begins with a battle. Every testimony begins with a challenge that had to be overcome. If you are facing a difficult season today, do not lose hope. The battle you are fighting is not the end of your story. What feels like a setback today may become a blessing tomorrow. What seems like a delay today may be preparing you for something greater than you can currently imagine. Keep trusting God even when you do not understand everything. Keep moving forward even when the path seems difficult. Keep believing even when the results are not yet visible. Your current struggle does not define your future. Remember that God sees the complete picture while we only see a small part of it. He knows where He is leading you. He knows what He is preparing you for. He knows how this chapter fits into the larger story of your life. One day, you may look back on this battle and realize that it was not sent to destroy you. It was shaping you. It was strengthening you. It was preparing you. It was teaching you lessons that could not have been learned any other way. So stand strong. Do not allow temporary difficulties to steal your hope. Do not allow fear to convince you that the battle is meaningless. Trust that God is working even when you cannot see it. The struggle may be real, but so is God's purpose. The battle may be difficult, but is not without meaning. Every challenge can become an opportunity for growth, faith, and transformation. And when the battle is over, you may discover that what once felt like your greatest obstacle became one of your greatest blessings because God was using it all along to prepare you for something greater. There are moments in life when we face situations that seem impossible. We look at the problem in front of us and cannot see a way forward. We try different solutions, seek advice, work harder, and do everything we know how to do, yet nothing seems to change. The situation appears too big, too complicated, and too far beyond our ability to fix. Almost everyone has experienced moments like these. There are seasons when doors remain closed no matter how many times we knock. There are times when prayers seem delayed. There are moments when hope begins to fade because the circumstances look impossible from a human perspective. It is during these moments that we must remember a powerful truth. What is impossible for people is never impossible for God. Human beings naturally focus on what they can see. We measure situations according to our experience, our resources, and our understanding. If something appears beyond our ability, we often conclude that it cannot happen. We see limitations. We see obstacles, we see reasons why things cannot change, but God sees something entirely different. God sees possibilities where we see impossibilities. He sees solutions where we see problems. He sees opportunities where we see obstacles. His power is not limited by circumstances, and his ability is not restricted by the challenges that stand before us. Many people spend years worrying about situations they cannot control. They become discouraged because they focus on the size of their problem rather than the greatness of God. The bigger the problem appears, the smaller their hope becomes. Fear begins to grow. Doubt begins to grow. Discouragement begins to take over. But when we focus on God instead of focusing only on the problem, something begins to change inside us. We start remembering that our circumstances are not greater than God's power. We begin to understand that no challenge is too difficult for Him. There are times when life places us in situations where we have reached the end of our own strength. We have done everything we know how to do. We have tried every solution available to us. We have exhausted our own wisdom and abilities. It is often in those moments that we become fully aware of our need for God. Sometimes God allows us to reach places where human strength alone is not enough. Not because He wants us to suffer, but because He wants us to discover that His power is greater than our limitations. Many breakthroughs begin where human effort ends. There are people who have experienced seasons where everything appeared hopeless. They faced challenges that seemed impossible to overcome. Yet somehow things changed in ways they never expected. Opportunities appeared unexpectedly. Answers came at the right time. Solutions arrived from places they never imagined. What seemed impossible suddenly became possible. These moments remind us that God is always working even when we cannot see it. While we are worrying, He is working. While we are waiting, He is moving. While we are wondering how things will work out, He is already preparing the answer. One of the greatest challenges during difficult seasons is maintaining faith when circumstances do not immediately improve. It is easy to trust when everything is going well. It is easy to believe when the answers come quickly. But real faith often grows during the waiting period. The waiting period can be uncomfortable. We want immediate results. We want instant solutions. We want clear answers. Yet sometimes God uses the waiting season to strengthen our faith and deepen our trust in Him. While we are focused on changing our circumstances, God is often working on changing us. He is developing patience. He is building character. He is teaching us to depend on Him more fully. There are lessons that can only be learned in difficult seasons. There are truths that can only be discovered when we walk through situations that stretch our faith. These moments help us realize that our confidence should not be based on circumstances, but on God's faithfulness. When we face impossible situations, fear often becomes our greatest enemy. Fear tells us that things will never change. Fear tells us that the problem is too big. Fear tells us that there is no solution, but fear does not tell the truth. Fear only focuses on what can be seen. Faith focuses on what God can do. There may be someone reading this today who feels trapped by a situation that seems impossible. Perhaps you have been carrying a burden for a long time. Perhaps you have prayed and waited without seeing immediate results. Perhaps you are wondering if things will ever change. Do not give up hope. The fact that you cannot see a solution does not mean there is no solution. The fact that you do not understand how things will work out does not mean God has stopped working. The fact that the situation looks impossible today does not mean it will remain impossible forever. God specializes in situations that people cannot solve. He works in places where human wisdom falls short. He moves in circumstances where there appears to be no way forward. His timing may not always match our expectations, but His timing is always perfect. He sees the beginning and the end. He understands things we cannot yet understand. He knows how every piece fits together. That is why we must continue trusting Him even when we cannot see the full picture. We must continue believing even when the evidence seems limited. We must continue hoping even when circumstances seem difficult. The same God who guided people through their hardest seasons is still working today. The same God who opened doors in the past can open doors now. The same God who brought answers before can bring answers again. Never underestimate what God can do in a single moment. One opportunity can change a life. One answer can change a situation. One breakthrough can transform years of struggle. One touch from God can accomplish what human effort could never achieve. So do not allow impossible situations to steal your faith. Do not let temporary challenges convince you that your story is over. Keep trusting, keep believing, keep praying, keep moving forward. Remember that God is greater than every obstacle, stronger than every challenge, and bigger than every problem you face. And when God moves, situations that once looked impossible can be transformed in ways beyond anything you could have imagined. That is the power of God's glory. It brings hope where there was despair, light where there was darkness, and possibility where there once seemed to be none. No matter how impossible the situation may look today, never forget that God is still able to do what people consider impossible. One of the most difficult things in life is trusting God when you do not understand what He is doing. Most people like certainty. We like to know where we are going, how things will work out, and what the future will look like. We feel comfortable when we have answers. We feel secure when we can see the path ahead, but life does not always work that way. There are seasons when questions seem greater than answers. There are moments when doors close unexpectedly. There are times when prayers appear delayed. There are situations that leave us confused and wondering why things are happening the way they are. In those moments, it can be tempting to become discouraged and lose hope. Many people believe they can only trust when they understand. They think they need every answer before they can move forward. They want to know exactly how everything will happen before they take the next step. But faith does not work that way. Faith often requires us to trust before we understand. If we only trusted God when everything made sense, very little faith would be required. Real faith begins where human understanding ends. It is choosing to believe that God is good even when life is difficult. It is choosing to believe that He is working even when we cannot see evidence of it. It is choosing to believe that His plans are greater than our own plans. There are times when life takes unexpected turns. You may have had a vision for your future. You may have carefully planned every step. You may have worked hard and expected certain results. Then suddenly things change. Opportunities disappear. Challenges arise. Circumstances move in a direction you never expected. When this happens, disappointment can easily enter your heart. You may begin asking questions. Why did this happen? Why did that door close? Why is this taking so long? Why am I facing this struggle? These questions are natural. Every person has asked them at some point. But sometimes there are no immediate answers. Sometimes God does not reveal the entire picture. Sometimes He asks us to trust Him while the answers remain hidden. This can be difficult because human nature wants control. We want certainty. We want guarantees. We want to know that everything will work out exactly as we expect. Yet some of the greatest blessings in life come when we learn to trust God, even when we cannot see where He is leading us. Think about how often we only see a small part of the story. We view life one day at a time. We see the challenge in front of us. We see the disappointment we are experiencing. We see the struggle we are facing, but God sees the complete picture. He sees what happened before this moment. He sees what is happening now. He sees what will happen in the future. He knows how every piece fits together. What seems confusing to us is completely clear to Him. Many times people look back on difficult seasons and realize that what they once considered a setback was actually preparation. What felt like a closed door was protection. What felt like a delay was actually perfect timing. At the time, they did not understand. At the time, they felt frustrated. At the time, they questioned what was happening. But later they saw that God was guiding them towards something better. The challenge is that we usually understand these things after the fact, not while we are going through them. This is why trust is so important. Trust allows us to move forward even when we do not have all the answers. Trust gives us peace in the middle of uncertainty. Trust reminds us that God's wisdom is greater than our own understanding. There will be moments when fear tries to take control. Fear will tell you that things are falling apart. Fear will tell you that the future is uncertain. Fear will tell you that because you do not understand what is happening. Something must be wrong. But fear is not always telling the truth. Just because you do not understand what God is doing does not mean He is not working. Just because you cannot see the answer does not mean there is no answer. Just because the path is unclear does not mean God has abandoned you. Sometimes God is working behind the scenes in ways that you cannot yet see. While you are waiting, He is preparing. While you are praying, He is moving. While you are worrying, He is arranging things that will make sense later. One of the greatest lessons in life is learning that God's faithfulness is not dependent on our understanding. He remains faithful whether we understand His plan or not. He remains faithful whether we can see the next step or not. He remains faithful whether circumstances make sense or not. That truth can bring tremendous peace. Instead of carrying the pressure of figuring everything out, we can place our trust in the one who already knows the future. Instead of becoming overwhelmed by unanswered questions, we can rest in the knowledge that God is still in control. This does not mean every challenge will disappear immediately. It does not mean every question will be answered right away. It does not mean every problem will be solved overnight. What it means is that we can continue moving forward with confidence because our hope is not based on circumstances. Our hope is based on God's character. He is faithful. He is trustworthy. He is wise. He is good. If you are facing a season of uncertainty today, do not lose heart. You may not understand everything that is happening. You may not know why certain doors have closed. You may not know when the answers will come, but you do not need to know everything to trust God. Take one step at a time. Continue praying, continue believing, continue trusting. Refuse to allow confusion to steal your faith. Refuse to let unanswered questions take away your hope. Remember that God is leading you even when the path seems unclear. He is guiding you even when you cannot see the destination. He is working even when you cannot see the results. One day, many of the things that seem confusing now will make sense. One day, you may look back and see how God was protecting you, preparing you, and guiding you all along. Until that day comes, keep trusting Him. Trust Him when the answers are clear. Trust Him when the answers are hidden. Trust Him when the road is easy. Trust Him when the road is difficult. Trust Him when life makes sense and when it does not, because true faith is not believing after you understand. True faith is trusting God before you understand, knowing that His wisdom is greater than yours and His plans for your life are always good. As we come to the end of this message, remember this powerful truth. The answer is not found in chasing everything the world offers. The answer is found in seeking God above all else. His presence changes everything. His favor flows through a relationship with Him. When we trust Him enough to let go of our own control, breakthrough begins to happen. Every battle we face has a purpose, even when we cannot see it in the moment. God's glory can transform situations that seem impossible, and faith grows strongest when we choose to trust Him before we fully understand His plan. Life will not always be easy. There will be challenges, delays, disappointments, and seasons of waiting. There will be moments when the road ahead looks uncertain and questions seem greater than answers. But no matter what you face, never forget that God is with you. He has not forgotten you. He has not abandoned you. He is working behind the scenes, preparing what you cannot yet see and making a way where there seems to be no way. Do not allow fear to stop you. Do not allow doubt to weaken your faith. Do not allow temporary circumstances to make you lose sight of God's promises. Keep praying, keep believing, keep trusting, and keep moving forward. The same God who brought you through yesterday will lead you through tomorrow. Today, make a decision to seek God's presence more than His blessings. Trust His timing more than your understanding, and follow His direction more than your own plans. When God becomes your priority, everything else begins to find its proper place. Your breakthrough may be closer than you think. Your answer may already be on the way. Your season can change in a single moment. Your story is not over. Stand strong. Hold on to your faith. Keep your eyes on God. The battle will not last forever. The waiting season will not last forever, and the challenges you face today will not define your future. The God who started a good work in your life is faithful to complete it. He is still working, still moving, still opening doors, still performing miracles, and still making the impossible possible. May you leave today with greater faith, greater hope, and greater confidence in God's power. Trust Him, follow Him, and never stop believing, because when you have God, you have everything you truly need. Thank you, and may God richly bless you all.